Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the December 6th edition of Carolina Week.
You might be surprised at how much of your money funds events you might not even attend.
I'm Claudia Rupsich. I'll show you different ways to determine how fit you are.
In sports, the basketball team finds a potential turning point, and the men's soccer team is headed to California.
Weathercaster John Boyer will tell us if these frigid temperatures are here to stay.
All that and the secret to the sweet flavors you taste in your favorite treats.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Tuition increases have become all too common at Carolina. Good evening, I'm Andrea Lutka.
And I'm Eddie Sykes. Thank you for joining us. Well, along with tuition, we pay nearly $2,000 a year in student fees, and one group has oversight over much of that cash. Now, you might not know who they are or what they do, but they control a significant amount of your money. Like many students, junior Paris Smallwood has trouble explaining what the Carolina Union Activities Board does.
I see their signs up, like come to QAB, listen to this, and I see their signs in front of Alpine that advertise things, but honestly, I feel like it's not really well publicized.
The Carolina Union Activities Board, known better as QAB, is the group responsible for organizing and funding most campus events. But Smallwood is concerned his interests aren't being met.
I've never seen anything about even trying to get on. Is it a board? I don't know. So I can't really comment on that because I don't know who makes the decisions, really.
The Carolina Union's Assistant Director for Student Learning and Activities, Lawrence Sachs, says QAB serves a very important purpose.
QAB's main goal is provide educational and entertaining programs for the student body.
But it's strange to think that no one really seems to know what the organization does, especially when you consider this.
QAB gets 1/3 of student activities fees, which amounts to anywhere between $300,000 and $350,000.
Let's put that into perspective. Students shell out more than $1,800 each in student fees a year, meaning that more than $600 per student is going straight to QAB. But who ultimately gets to decide where all of your money goes?
I think too many people on campus think that this is all out of their control.
Vinny Tagliatelle is the chair of QAB's comedy committee. He says the organization's decision-making process isn't as mysterious as some might think.
I mean, the ideas have to originate from somewhere. And if you've got an idea that you're passionate about, you can make other people passionate about it too.
Tagliatelle says QAB is making strides to get its name out there, but Smallwood worries no one hears his voice.
At least in our government, we have a vote for.
Well, here are some other ways you could spend $600 in a year for entertainment. You could go to 10 concerts at Cat's Cradle at $20 a pop. You could shell out $10 each time you go to hear 10 different speakers. And you could go to about 10 movies for a cost of about $10 a piece at South Point. Now, that would be 30 events in a year costing around $400, leaving you around $200 to do other things. And we'll take a look at some of the other specific ways that QAB spends your money when we return from winter break.
Student body president elections aren't until February, but charges of campaign violations are already flying. Junior Rick Ingram filed a complaint against Student Body Secretary Ian Lee, saying Lee is trying to run for SBP. The student code says members of the executive branch have to resign before running for another office.
The responsibility is on the candidate or the potential candidate to make sure that everything that they're doing is following the student code. And I think we've done that, and I think Ian hasn't.
If I were to decide to run for student body president and declare my candidacy in January, I would most likely resign my position as student body secretary. I feel this code is pretty clear on that.
There will be a Board of Elections meeting to clear up campaign restrictions on Tuesday.
Well, North Carolina's state funding for financial aid grants is steadily dwindling. Nearly 5,000 Carolina students received state grants for the 2009-2010 school year, and because of budget cuts, there won't be nearly as much money available next year. 83% of that funding came from a particular fund that has almost run dry. North Carolina Representative and UNC grad Ray Rapp is pushing to have a larger percentage of tuition money go toward financial aid. Well, Chapel Hill is looking for new ways to accommodate a projected population increase during the next few years. Chapel Hill has always maintained a small-town feel despite population increases, but in order to grow any more, the town says it will have to urbanize. The town is depending on high-rise condominiums such as Greenbridge, 140 West, and University Square, you can see right there. to fit more people into the little space that Chapel Hill has left. Well, in the next 4 to 5 years, town officials expect the population to increase by a steep 30,000 permanent residents. As you can see on this graph, that's a much bigger increase than in past years.
Well, North Carolina liquor stores can no longer sell 190 proof alcohol because too much of it was being sold near college campuses. The change from the State Alcohol Board follows a ban on the popular drink Four Loko and affects 400 ABC stores statewide. Stores won't be able to sell brands like Everclear and Diesel at 191 proof, but those brands will still be available at 151 proof.
Well, 240 UNC physicians have made the cut in the Best Doctors in America rankings. There are about 45,000 doctors, included on the list, representing the top 5% of physicians in the country. The doctors are chosen based on mostly what their peers say about them. This is the second time in a row UNC has had more than 200 doctors represented in the database.
A couple of different ways to measure fitness. Claudia Rupsich joins us in the studio. Claudia, how do all these tests work?
Well, Andrea, it really depends on what the test is measuring. I followed a male UNC student through a series of measurements. Let's take a look at his results. Adam McDonald considers himself a very athletic person. He plays on UNC's club rugby team and works out at least 5 times a week. But according to his body mass index, McDonald is overweight.
What's interesting is, the word overweight, I'm heavy for my height or anything, but I wouldn't necessarily consider myself unhealthy.
BMI is based on the ratio of height and weight and doesn't take muscle mass into account. Lori Mingili is the director of the fitness program at UNC. She says BMI is the least accurate way of measuring how fit you are, especially for a 5'4", 130-pound person like McDonald.
A lot of times, people who are shorter but very muscular could have a reading that indicates that they're overweight or overfat, which really is not the case.
Bioelectrical impedance, or BIA analysis, uses a device that measures your body fat by sending a small electric current through the body. According to this test, McDonald has 14% body fat, placing him in the athletic category. One of the most accurate methods to measure body composition is the skin fold test. The person administering the test uses calipers to pinch 3 different areas of the body. In men, they're the chest, the stomach, and the thigh. The computer takes an average of the 3 numbers to calculate body fat percentage. McDonald got 18.9%, placing him in the recommended range. Mangili says even though this method is more accurate, it's not perfect.
It is fairly accurate, but again, there's a variation between testers.
Instead of focusing on any one test, she recommends that people do all 3 tests and then take an average of the readings.
Claudia, are the tests time-consuming or expensive?
Well, Andrea, the SRC offers these tests for free, and you can do all 3 in a matter of 10 minutes or less. So Mangili thinks there's no reason not to do all of them. And as we said, take the average as your best measure of body composition.
Rupsich reporting in the studio. Thanks, Claudia.
Well, we all know that UNC students are known for their diverse interests.
Coming up, we'll introduce you to a student whose interest landed her an international honor.
Hey, Sarah.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute. How do you know Cal?
Come on, Donovan, do it like I taught you. Love the new tattoo, Sarah. Let's go!
Dude, what? Dude, that's Sarah. The girl in the pink shirt, that's the girl I was telling you about.
Oh, that's Sarah?
Theater 2 on your left. Hey, Sarah. What color underwear today?
Hey, Sarah. So when you want to post something new?
Anything you post online, anyone can see. Family, friends.
See you later, Sarah.
Even not so friendly people. Think before you post.
These things we count on every day started as ideas. Ideas from the minds of African Americans. Support minority education today so we don't miss out on the next big idea tomorrow. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Well, 2 of our students are recipients of one of the most prestigious graduate scholarships in the world. Reporter Alessandra Press tells how one of them will use it to pursue her international and cultural interests.
Laurence Deschamps-Laporte is one of 2 UNC Rhodes Scholars for this year. The judges told her the great news with a phone call.
I just became silent, and then they say, right away, do you accept it? And then I woke up and I say, yes, thank you, yes.
Her interest in Oxford comes from her passion for travel, art, and other cultures, particularly Islamic value systems.
I'm not the typical, involved student government student, and I think a lot of them could get the Rhodes Scholarship also, but that's not who I am, so I never tried to be.
Oxford is a place where she can focus on international development, instead of just the broad concept of international studies at UNC.
I'm hoping I can really look at this kind of triangle of interest, which is Islamic studies, development, and gender.
Deschamps-Laporte decided to apply in her junior year. The process starts with a personal statement. The next step is recommendation letters. This extensive process forced her to reflect deeply on who she is.
So it makes you think, why do I want this scholarship? Why do I want to study this? Who's my favorite author? Why am I a leader? Why am I this or that? So you learn a lot about yourself, so it's amazing.
She says her various artistic and cultural interests don't box her in. Instead, they expand her world and provide endless possibilities. In Chapel Hill, I'm Alexandra Press, Carolina Week.
In the meantime, Laurence Deschamps-Laporte will continue to enjoy her senior year at UNC.
An expansion plan for the Chapel Hill Public Library might be put on hold. It was originally slated to replace Dillard's in University Mall, but officials might have to find a different location for the library. Dillard's managers say they have no plans to relocate. Mall officials say the move could bring more revenue and traffic to the mall, but it's not possible unless Dillard's relocates. In the meantime, the Orange County Library is spreading some holiday cheer by saving you a couple bucks and helping charity. The library is waiving $1 from a late fine for every item a person donates to the county's holiday program. The program gives holiday presents to underprivileged children. This program will last the entire month of December.
Well, fires are certainly more prevalent throughout the holiday season, and the Chapel Hill Fire Department wants to help you reduce them by participating in Keep the Wreath Green, a month-long event to raise awareness about fire safety. Each time there's a fire, firefighters will light a red bulb on the wreath. The point is to keep it green. Now, in order to help with fire safety and prevention, you should make sure candles aren't lit before you leave the house, and avoid losing drop cords like that right there for your holiday lights. Now, most importantly, make sure you have working smoke detectors in your home or apartment. With Christmas quickly approaching, North Carolina Christmas tree sales are holding steady. North Carolina ranks second in the nation for the production of Christmas trees, behind Oregon. Now, officials have chosen North Carolina Fraser firs as the official White House tree 11 times. And overall, North Carolina growers harvest 5 million trees each year.
The Carolina Inn is celebrating the season with holiday events for all 12 days of Christmas. This weekend, the Chelsea Chimes, a parish handbell choir, performed Christmas songs with bells of every shape and size. The event is just one of the holiday tea parties the hotel hosts during the season for groups of all ages. Decorations bring cheer to the Carolina Inn, which will have more events for the community throughout the season.
Well, you know, we had some unexpected snow over the weekend, but it's still really chilly out there.
Yep, weathercaster John Boyer joins us in the studio.
Hi there, Andrea and Eddie. I think the good news, well, unless you like snow, so we aren't expecting to see any more of it this week, although our temperatures will remain below average for the next few days. I'll let you know how cold it will get tonight when we come back after the break.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Lead paint poisoning affects over 1 million children today. Just 3 granules of lead dust can harm your child. If your home was built before 1978, log on to leadfreekids.org. The odds of this daughter of a clergyman spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm John Boyer. If this weekend's snow wasn't enough to get you in the mood for Christmas, I don't know what will. Although it's going to be cold these next few days, so if you haven't already pulled the winter coat out of the closet, now's the time to do it. Tonight we could see lows in the teens for some of you out there watching. Although the good news is the weekend will see us return to some more seasonal temperatures. Although in the meantime, let's take a look at some of these snow totals from the weekend. A ½ inch here in Chapel Hill, but just a few miles to the north in Hillsborough, they picked up 2 inches on Saturday afternoon. Way out in the west, up in the mountains, Boone saw 6 inches. Some places up in the mountains saw 8 inches of snow. So some of the ski resorts may have some things to work with now. Now, the snow is still on the ground out there today, 2 days later, at least in some patches. So you know it's cold out there. What's causing all this cold weather? We have to take a really big look at the northern hemisphere to see what's going on. I normally don't show this product, but this is sort of what the air is doing way up in the atmosphere, about 2 kilometers up. Now, the atmosphere, the waves you see here, they normally like to move from west to east. But every once in a while, it'll get caught up. So the pattern is keeping this warmer air sort of stuck over Greenland in the Atlantic. So what's behind it, this greener air, this greener shade, shows cooler air that's normally lodged up here in Canada, but it's being forced to the south. So that's why this past weekend we had cooler than normal temperatures. Although this pattern will change by the weekend, this cooler air will lift off to the north and east, and we'll see a return to these more bluish shades, which indicate more seasonable temperatures. The satellite picture right now, really not a lot going on over North Carolina. Clear skies, although clouds to the east over the ocean, clouds to the west over the Great Lakes. We'll stay in that spot between the clouds today and through tonight. Right now on the surface map, the cause for those clear skies, we have high pressure out here in the middle part of the country, very strong, and that'll be the dominant weather feature for most of the week. There's a low off in New England that's moving off to the north and east, but the winds created between the gradient of that low and high are rather gusty. So tonight we're looking for a low of 20 degrees, but because of some winds out of the west at 6 to 8 miles an hour, the wind chill could fill about 12 degrees. Tomorrow we're warming up, if that can be said, to 35. The record for tomorrow, the record coldest high for tomorrow is 35. So we have a chance of tying or perhaps breaking the record. And with winds out of the west to 8 to 14 miles an hour, we could see our wind chills feel like 20 degrees outside when you step out, even in the afternoon. If you're doing any traveling across the state tomorrow, be prepared for some snow showers in the higher elevations of the Appalachian Mountains and into Virginia, with lows below freezing in the mountains, lower 30s near Charlotte and Greensboro. Out east, upper 30s for most spots like Fayetteville and Elizabeth City, close to 40 down near the coast. Tomorrow's surface map shows mostly the same as what we have today, with high pressure in the central part of the country. That low still sitting up there in the northeast, but it's not going to create any precipitation for us. If you're heading out to the basketball game in Evansville, Indiana, Wednesday night, men's basketball team taking on Evansville. Temperatures in the upper 20s, game time 7 o'clock, with mostly cloudy skies. And I know all this talk of the cold air might have some of you thinking, oh, I'd really just like to get away from it all. Well, let's take a look at the Caribbean right now. Wouldn't that be nice? It turns out below average temperatures there too. Miami only 61 degrees tomorrow. 70 in Nassau. You'd expect 80s there this time of year, although you can find the 80s in Jamaica and also in Aruba. Here's the 5-day forecast. So you do see an improving trend starting out at 35. That could be a record cold day tomorrow, with lows in the teens once again Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Although sunshine, that is the good news. We'll see the sunshine all the way through, so you don't need to bring the umbrella out.
All right, well, first snow this weekend. Can Chapel Hill have any hope of a white Christmas?
It's not likely. Most of the time, Chapel Hill does not see a white Christmas, although wouldn't it be nice?
It would be nice.
I'd love to see
Sounds like
that
it's time to
happen.
bundle up, John.
We've got a few weeks to wait and see.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right.
Facebook users have a fresh look for their profile pages. The new pages include an updated About Me section at the top of the profile, and a row of recently tagged pictures now sits at the top of the profile, too. The interest section is also more prominent. It shows favorite artists and books with larger album artwork and covers. Well, sportscaster Justin Page joins us. Justin, it's been a huge weekend for sports.
I'm telling you, big win, too.
No, most definitely, Eddie. A huge win Saturday afternoon at the Smith Center as UNC beats Kentucky. Men's basketball beats a top 10 team. Men's soccer advances in the NCAA tournament. A lot to be excited about if you're a UNC fan. But coming up after the break, we'll show you exactly how the men's basketball team picked up its biggest win of the season.
I understand you need a little help with your mortgage. Want to avoid foreclosure. Candy? Well, you know, you're in luck. We're experts in this sort of thing. Mortgage, rigmarole, whatnot. Why don't we get a contract? Who wants a contract?
Here you go, Pete.
Thanks, Betty.
Write a toner.
If you're facing foreclosure, talk to the right people. Speak with HUD-approved housing counselors free of charge at 888-995-HOPE.
There's a place not so far away, a place where you don't have to keep the volume down. You'll find all sorts of creatures in this place without have to. The silly you, the proud you. You may even meet the curious you.
Tickling me. You!
Ask your parents to take you to this not-so-far-away place. Come to the forest, where the other you lives. But first, stop by discovertheforest.org.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Justin Page. The Carolina men's basketball team is back on track after picking up a huge win on Saturday against Kentucky. At the Smith Center, look at Chancellor Holden Thorpe helping out with the national anthem. You gotta love that. Great to see him there. Early on, Carolina in control with the John Henson slam, and then check this out. Off the Larry Drew miss, Harrison Barnes throws it down, but Kentucky would go on an 8-1 run to lead at the half. But in the second half, Carolina came out hot with Tyler Zeller scoring a career-high 27 points and hitting a lot of clutch free throws down the stretch. Carolina holds on and picks up its biggest win yet, 75-73. Meanwhile, the women's basketball team continues to dominate opponents after a three-point shootout against Iowa. The 14th-ranked Heels got off to a quick start against the Hawkeyes. Check out senior Italy Lucas with this three-point bucket right here. She knocks it down. Fans would hear that call all night long, and the ladies seemed to have the game under control, up 15 at the half. But Iowa came back in the second half, hot behind the arc, and cut the lead to just 1 point. But the Hawkeyes couldn't match Lucas, who scored a career-high 34 points. Heels get the win, 79-67. Switching gears, the men's soccer team is feeling pretty good after making history in Friday night's win against Southern Methodist. For the third game in a row, it came down to penalty kicks, and UNC keeper Scott Goodwin comes up with that save to give the Heels the edge. And watch this right here. Jalil Anibaba follows up with the dagger, and UNC becomes the first team in NCAA tournament history to win 3 straight games on penalty kicks. And with the win, the Heels advance to their 3rd straight College Cup. There you see the bracket. They take on undefeated Louisville on Friday night for the chance to play for the championship on Sunday. And meanwhile, some more sad news. The Carolina volleyball team ended its season after losing to California in the second round of the NCAA tournament. However, the ladies did finish with 25 wins, their most since 2002. And after what has been arguably the most turbulent season in Carolina football history, the team will still play in its 3rd straight bowl game. Carolina will take on Tennessee in the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl in Nashville on December 30th, giving TJ Yates and the rest of the seniors a chance to win Carolina's very first bowl game since 1998. Now, despite all the controversy in Carolina sports this fall, all of the Tar Heels made it a season to remember. So let's take a musical look back on the semester that was Carolina sports.
There is a huge amount of strength of character in that locker room. There's some great kids that refuse to surrender, refuse to use any excuses. They just went out and competed every single week, and I'm very, very proud of this team.
I said so, I keep big bills up in my heart, all the dirty like blood, so ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful, and I got plenty of bread, so I go to bed full. In it to win it, to win it, I'm all in. I might call you my blood, young blood, but we ain't kidding. You think you're jumping, man, let's think again. The dirty, I'm the type of man that might go broke for revenge. Had some not so nice friends, kick the door off the hinge, take the door off your bins, for your friends, man, please. This is cynical. Man on subliminal. I'm physical, financial, and mental to be a jail. Like, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. I don't really want it like, here comes the, here comes the,
challenge any other team in the country to go through what we did and come out like we did. And so I'm very proud of that.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Up, down, 'cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
I told the kids that one thing that defines you is your character, your guts, your ability to compete, to never surrender.
I got the magic in me. Every time I touch that track, it turns into gold. Everybody knows I got the magic in me. When I hit the floor, the girls come snapping at me. Now everybody wants a blast of magic, 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 oh. I got the magic in me.
What a season the fall was. Fall 2010, spectacular for UNC. We can't wait to see the Heels once again in 2011.
Absolutely. Looking forward to next semester already.
Definitely.
All right. Thanks,
right.
Justin.
Some great highlights. Thanks, Justin. You know, Eddie, of all the flavors in the world, even those weird Harry Potter ones, what would you say your favorite is?
That's a tough question. I'd probably have to say lemon.
Lemon, that's too normal.
Well, whatever your favorite flavor is, we know where they're mixing it up and making sure it not only tastes, but also smells just right.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
Well, you know, we have some sad breaking news for you this evening. We just received word that 61-year-old Elizabeth Edwards, the wife of former presidential candidate John Edwards, is again in serious condition after fighting cancer. We've received word that she has opted not to continue with chemotherapy. It's very sad news for a local resident that we all cherish and hold very dear.
Yeah, we'll all be hoping out for her. Sad news.
Absolutely. Our thoughts are with her family and everyone close to her.
Well, have you ever wondered where the flavors for your morning frappuccino or favorite jelly beans are made?
Well, reporter Rachel Nash will give us an inside look at a flavor factory that makes tastes that travel around the world.
Inside these laboratories, flavor chemists create everything from ice cream treats to pharmaceutical flavors. And Mother Murphy's is proud to say it has more than 5,000 flavors on tap. Patricia Hutchinson is in charge of flavor development. She says it's the perfect career.
The fact that I create different flavors every day and that whatever I create, I see on the grocery store shelf.
To become a flavor chemist, Hutchinson went through a 7-year training process. But contrary to what you'd think, the key to inventing flavors doesn't start with the tongue. It's all about the nose.
We train people to smell and make the flavors by smell, and then to put them in a medium so they can taste it.
So before I headed out into the plant, I decided to see what Mother Murphy's was made of and try the newest ice cream creation.
It's good.
In the plant, this is where the workers package and process flavors to be shipped out around the world. But Hutchinson says she doesn't get a big head from the company's achievement. She says it's all about the sweet working environment.
We just help each other and work with each other as a team, and it's really a team effort on everything we do. It's just a fun atmosphere and creating things, and then we get to taste them.
It's easy to taste success. In Greensboro, I'm Rachel Nash, Carolina Week.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Good night.